Moyno, always the right solution. For more than 65 years, Moyno progressing cavity pumps have been successfully applied and widely used worldwide in the industrial and municipal wastewater treatment industry. Throughout these years, Moyno has pioneered the design and application of the progressing cavity principle to continually enhance operational performance and innovate wastewater treatment pumping solutions.
Come on in.
And take a seat.
Welcome to the fourth edition of the Dave Heiner Community Diner. I'm Les Lattig, a senior sales engineer with DHA. I'm here to discuss one of our top principles, Moyno pumps and NOV brand.
The Moyno 2000 Progressing Cavity Pump demonstrates the Robbins & Myers commitment to top quality fluids handling products and customer service. Its advanced design, materials, and manufacture provide better performance and longer life than other types of pumps. The Moyno 2000 pump works according to the progressing cavity principle. A single helical rotor turns eccentrically in a stator contoured in the shape of a double helix. With each turn of the rotor, the cavities progress or move materials from the suction end of the pump to the discharge end. The key to the progressing cavity pump's design is in the way it handles the changing of concentric rotation at the drive end of the pump into eccentric rotation at the rotor end of the pump. In the Moyno 2000 pump, a connecting rod placed in a hollow drive shaft links the rotor to the pump's drive end. Sealed universal gear joints attach the connecting rod to the rotor and the drive end. This enables the connecting rod to pivot at both ends while transmitting torque. As the pump operates, the universal gear joints compensate for the transformation of one motion to the other. The quality of the Moyno 2000 pump provides years of trouble-free operation.
So what sets Moyno apart from all others, you may ask? Moyno is able to deliver superior pumping performance and greater overall customer value because of its innovative pump technologies. I'd like to share a success story with you of a local municipal client of ours. They have large rotary dryers and they needed a pumping solution to pump dewatered cake to them. Their initial thought was that this piston pump was the way to go. After a few years of operation, they began to notice an increase in maintenance costs, and they were also concerned about the hydraulic system, which is a very high pressure unit next to the operators. They decided to look elsewhere and chose to go with Moyno 2000 series pumps to pump that dewatered cake to the dryers. As of today, they've been running over 10 years with a minimum of maintenance. The authority is very satisfied with their purchase. I would now like to turn the presentation over to our Regional Sales Manager, Rick Baker. Rick is a longtime Moyno employee and has more innovative things to discuss about this unique pump product.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rick Baker, Area Sales Manager for Moyno Progressing Cavity Pumps and Chemoneer Mixing Equipment. Today we will look at the pumps Moyno has to offer, why we want to use the progressing cavity pump, and finally discuss what makes Moyno's flagship pump, the Model 2000, the most specified pump in the world. So let's get going. So why do we want to use a PC pump to pump our liquids? Well, it has excellent metering capabilities like most PD pumps have. Has the ability to pump fluids of a low vapor pressure like sodium hypochlorite that normally would give reciprocating pumps and centrifugal pumps a major headache. Have longer performance life of abrasives than other types of pumps would. Extremely low internal velocity, no emulsification of the product being pumped. High viscosity capabilities. We pump some materials in excess of 10 million centipoise. The pump can do suction lifts of 28 feet. The pump can turn in either direction, pump in either direction. Has non-pulsating flow and a gentle conveying action, so you have no shearing of the product. This is why most polymer manufacturers prefer a PC pump over any other pump. Discharge pressure is independent of speed. Unlike a centrifugal, the faster you turn the pump, the more discharge pressure you create. PC pumps do not create discharge pressure. They simply overcome it. It's an excellent pump for pumping shear-sensitive applications like polymers. Has a very low net positive suction head requirement, much lower than centrifugal pumps. And overall, it has a low cost of ownership. These unique design characteristics of the progressing cavity pump give it the ability to excel at pumping solids in suspension, high viscosity liquids, shear-sensitive liquids, abrasive slurries, and liquids that contain both solids and gas. So let's look at some of the pumps that Moyno has to offer. We'll start with our metering and dosing pumps. All these flows that I'm going to mention are per 100 revolutions per minute. They can actually go lower than that and certainly go much higher than that. So we have our mag drive. This is a true mag drive plastic pump. Flows starting at 0.116 gallons per minute per 100 revolutions. And we can get up to discharge pressures of 100 psi. Have a metering pump. It's 316 stainless steel construction. Flows starting at 0.021 gallons per minute. And discharge pressures of 348 psi. Now let's look at some of our larger pumps that can serve both as dosing and metering pumps and transfer pumps. We have our Compact C that does 0.34 gallons per 100 revolutions and discharge pressures up to 348 psi. We have our 500 metering pump, which is a very versatile little pump. Flows starting at 0.048 gallons per 100 revolutions. And then we have the L-frame pump. There are literally millions of these in service today in the United States. Flows start at 0.045 gallons per minute and goes up to discharge pressures at 783 psi. And here we have our flange transfer pumps. These pumps can handle up to 10% solids. Our first pump is the Moyno 2000, which is our flagship pump. Flows starting at 8 gallons per minute at 100 revolutions, and discharge pressures up to 783 psi. Then we have our easy strip transfer pump with flows at 6.4 gallons per minute at 100 revolutions, and it can handle discharge pressures up to 348 psi. Then we have our Moyno 2000 G4 pump. What we've done with it is we've actually angled the suction housing back to a 45-degree angle. This will help us get solids up as high as 16% to flow into the pump. And at the head of the rotor, you can see right here where we've put a little auger to help fluids make this transition from the suction housing into the rotor and stator. Then we have our open throat pumps. These are referred to as the G2 pumps. They can handle 15% thickened solids. Open throat pump uses an auger as its connecting rod to help push material into the rotor and stator. These pumps can do flows of 12 gallons per minute and can do discharge pressures up to 783 psi. Then we have our G3 pump. Very similar to our G2 pump, it has the auger here in the bottom of the suction housing to transfer material into the rotor and stator. But in addition to the auger, we also have a bridge breaker here on top that will break up solids coming off of a belt press or a centrifuge. These pumps can pump solids in excess of 30%, flow starting at 11 gallons per minute. Then we have our Moyno 2000 HS system. This is a much better feed than these G2 or G3 style pumps. Whereas they use a single auger, we use a double auger in this style pump, which gives us a higher capacity feed. In the G2 and G3, the capacity is only about 70% efficient. This one is closer to 98%. These pumps can handle up to 50% solids. It comes with a complete set of controls. So basically you push the button to start it and you can walk away from it. Most people recognize Moyno as the leader in PC pump technology. What they don't know is that Moyno actually has a very innovative lineup of grinders also. Grinders are primarily used to protect equipment and pumps in the wastewater treatment plants. Here we have our channel grinder. We refer to it as the Series A grinder. It can handle flows up to 5,000 gallons per minute. Then we have our inline grinders. On the left side, we have our models 203 and 205. Can handle flows up to 900 gallons per minute and comes in flange sizes from 4-inch to 12-inch. On the right side, we have our model 201, which comes in 4 and 6-inch flanges and handles flows up to 229 gallons per minute. Here we have our disc cam. This is used in lift stations and channel applications. Much sturdier than some of the other screen models that are on the market today. This can handle capacities up to 70,000 gallons per minute. Let's talk about the equipment mechanics just a little bit. So on the Series A or the channel grinder, pretty simple stuff here actually. You have the motor at the top, then you have a gearbox, then you have the differential gears inside that control the speed of the independent shafts. You have the driven shafts, you have the hardened cutters and spacers, you have a bottom bearing and the housing cover plate. You also have the mechanical seals down here. Then up here you have bearings and mechanical seals, and then the cover plate. This is the TR Muncher mechanics, very simple motor, gearbox. You only have seals and bearings in the top, unlike a lot of other grinders that actually have them top and bottom. We don't use mechanical seals or bearings in the bottom. We simply use a wear plate down here and pretty much what you would call a throttle bushing or a wear bushing down at the bottom. This is our TR Muncher. A little short animation on how it operates. So basically you have a high torque, low speed grinder mounted in the pipeline. Large diameter cutters have an integral cast base. This fits in the same footprint that all the other grinders out there do. It is a cantilever design. And the beauty of that is that it doesn't require seals or bearings in the bottom like most other grinders do. And like I mentioned earlier, it is compatible with most other grinders. And this is showing the benefit of the cantilever design. So you have heavy particles coming through. You can see that they'll drop out of suspension. They go down into the trash bin down here at the bottom, and it can easily be cleaned out. This will protect your teeth and increase the longevity of the grinder itself. The grinder can easily be removed, a maintenance screen can be put in, or just have a spare cartridge on hand ready to go. The cutters are referred to as the ETOS. They're equal thrust offset saw cutters. Most important thing about them is that they actually have these little serrations right here that actually snag non-wovables. This helps to tear diapers, handy wipes, things like that that people continuously flush down commodes and constantly causing problems in the wastewater treatment plant. But the ETOS cutters actually do a great job of cutting those up. Different types of control panels are available for the TR Munchers. So the core product offering would be mostly in stock from our Houston facilities. The Series A Muncher, we do range capacities up to 5,300 GPM. Throat sizes from 8-inch up to 60 inches. And then in the TR Muncher, we can do flows up to 1,900 gallons per minute. Flange sizes from 4-inch up to 12-inch. Not much I can say about that other than don't get your hands caught in there. When you throw the bucket in, make sure you let it go. As previously mentioned, we also have a screen grinder called the Disc Cam. This is a very innovative product that doesn't use screens, which can be very problematic in that they can be very weak. They can get holes punched them, so forth and so on. We actually use a series of rotating discs. Here is an animation of our disc cam in action. You see it mounted in a channel just like you would any other type of grinder screen system. And you see the rotating discs that act as a screen, much stronger than a typical screen that you find in a lot of other types of systems. On the left side, you'll see the grinder itself, and then the other rotating shafts contain the disc, which are rotating clockwise and moving particles from the right side of the screen down to the left side of the screen where the grinder is. There's approximately 9 millimeters of space between each disc, so that serves as an excellent screen and will tend to pull just about anything out of the water that will be floating in it, rags, debris, anything like that. You can mount this in any type of channel that you can mount any other type of grinder screen. This is an example, animated example of particles coming down through here, how they come up against the disc, and you can see that they are transferred to the left to where the grinder is and where they will be ground up and continue downstream. This is a very innovative solution and very inexpensive solution to other types of grinding equipment that can be found in channels today. Disc cam mechanics, very simple. We have one motor for the grinder itself, and then we have another motor for the rotating disc. The disc cam mechanics. So basically, we're using our Series A grinder to grind particles that are captured by the rotating disc. The rotating discs are modular. We can have as many shafts of disc that we need to fill up the channel. They intermesh with each other and are self-cleaning. Disc cam is able to capture about 95% of all solids floating in the channel. Unlike a bar screen, you don't need an attendant or you don't need to come cleaning on a regular basis. The disc cam is very quiet operation, very low wear rates. There's a variety of different sizes for your screening needs. Now let's talk about the Moyno 2000 progressing cavity pump. It's the most specified progressing cavity pump in the world. It has over 63 models available, capacities from 2 gallons per minute up to 2,500 gallons per minute, and discharge pressures to over 1,000 psi. Some of the performance features of the 2000 is its drivetrain. We use a hollow drive shaft where we put the connecting rod through it. This gives us a much shorter footprint and it extends the life of the drive shaft. In addition to the hollow drive shaft, we also use tapered roller bearings on the drive shaft. For universal joints in the Moyno 2000 pump, we use a crown gear joint. This has proven to be much more rugged and much more durable than a pin joint. The number one thing that most operators and owners of wastewater treatment plants ask for is the fiber deflector. Moyno is the only PC pump that can put a fiber deflector in their pump, and this eliminates all ragging in the suction housing. We also offer a shaft sleeve to protect the drive shaft from abrasion if you're using packing. Moyno progressing cavity pumps, the most rugged, the most reliable, the best performance, and the best value for your money. Thank you for joining us today. you have any comments or questions about today's presentation, or you want to make an inquiry of PC Pumps, please feel free to contact me, rick.baker@nov.com, or any of the associates at Dave Heiner. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick, for that very informative presentation. As you may well know, Dave Heiner Associates has been serving the water and wastewater industry for over 44 years in the New York metropolitan area. DHA is proud to represent Moyno and several other premium manufacturers that offer full line of diverse offerings such as pumps, valves, sluice gates, dewatering equipment, fiberglass shelters and flumes, odor control, aeration equipment, screens, conveyors, as well as instrumentation, including flow meters, automatic samplers, chemical induction mixers, and much more. You like what you have seen? Have any questions? We would love to hear from you. Call us today or visit our website. We would love to either come to your plant or set up a virtual meeting specifically geared for your individual needs. We would now like to highlight our Dave Heiner swag bag. We will select one winner at random from this viewing audience. We at DHA are here to assist with all processes at your facility and are committed to providing our clients with innovative, value-driven solutions. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for joining us today.
That concludes our luncheon for today. I'd like to thank you all for attending. We look forward to hearing your feedback. Please join us for next month's luncheon.